Hives for Heroes is a bee mentorship program designed for veterans, where mentors train veteran and first responders as beekeepers in the art of beekeeping. Hey friends, it's Barbara Sue at Kowalski Mountain and welcome back to the homestead. Now today is National HoneyBee Day and Philip met with his NewBEE, who is a veteran who would like to learn the art of beekeeping. Now Hives for Heroes is a national organization that matches beekeepers, mentors, with newbies who want to learn the art of beekeeping, and the goal is they will earn their very own hive. Now today was our first day. It was kind of an introduction, and I know we gave him a ton of information that's going to keep his head spinning. But let's check out how today's NewBEE session went.
How you doing? I'm all right. How are you doing?
Very well. Glad you made it. Philip? Forrest. Nice to meet you, man. My wife, Barbara Sue, she's up on the side. She's getting ready. With the gardening and the way everything's kind of turning, I kind of wanted to be self-sufficient and take care of my own, do my part. And with that being said, bees are a part of that. Well, me doing trees, I came across bees quite often. It allowed me to get bees out of the trees, that kind of thing. So it was a quick grab the bees and go. Didn't realize it was going to speed up as fast as it did, because come October one year, I think 5 years ago now, I ended up coming up on a tree. Didn't realize it. Trimmed everything off all the way up, then started my top down, and on my way down I ended up coming up on bees in the hollow part of the tree. Kind of forced myself into it, because October the bees aren't going to go anywhere, they're just going to die. I literally just took their home away and resources. So that forced me to go into this a little bit quicker. With that, I learned a lot. I literally jumped in both feet. Most people say, oh, you need to find a mentor. Well, I want to really more elaborate on that. I want to get deeper into that. Why? So that's why I was asking you, what do you do for a living and why did you want to get into bees? Because I had to take a certain path, and that brought me to where I'm at. Because otherwise, there's no sense in going down this path and realize, man, I got all this equipment. What did I just do that for? And I'm not even going that direction. I just want to enjoy a little bit of it and focus on the rest.
As far as bees goes, my buddy I deployed with, he was into it. Or he was very interested, still is.
Okay.
And so, you know, he talked me into it. You know, he made it sound great, and I was like, okay, you know, it sounds good, you know, but then again, I don't know nothing about bees, you know.
Right.
I just know.
Gotta start somewhere.
It'll hurt you if you don't know what you're doing, I guess.
Yeah.
So, you know, he was telling me, you know, you could make your own honey, there's other things you could do, and I was like, okay, and we were going to sign up for these classes, and I did that, 3 years ago, I think.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So it took a while.
It took a while. I completely forgot all about it.
I understand our conversation on the phone. Yeah, it took.
And then life caught up, and then I wasn't ready as I thought I might have been.
Okay. I'm retired first sergeant. I've been in here, so I'm used to asking a lot of questions to lead up to something else I'm trying to get to later on down the road. So with all those questions in mind, looking at being a teacher, you're on the road. Bees are not a hard thing to keep up with. I will be honest with you, it's not a cheap hobby.
Right.
Right out of the chute, doing this will most benefit you in a way that you're going to get that drawn out comb readily available. You're going to learn how to do certain things, how not to do certain things. And the worst part of all this is probably to set aside maybe a couple hours at a designated time that we agree on, often as we possibly can without taking away from the family. And let me add this, I don't want to exclude them. So if we want to incorporate them in to let them better understand what you do, so they'll become a level that she'll be comfortable with and not comfortable with. With that being said, that would be beneficial on our side, because the things that I'm going to teach you and you're going to learn along the way, and we learn from each other always. So you're going to learn how to do traps, where to set the traps up at your location. So kind of this networking thing, you've got an area that can be tapped, but I can't tap it. You're right there. So I asked about where you live and how much property you have because of neighbors, restrictions,
Yes.
Anything along the, homeowners associations and things along that line. And like I said, I had an acre and a quarter. It was not a gated community, but it was a subdivision. Had the bees right there. They took off and they went out there 2 to 5 miles max. But down in Florida, it was constantly going. So when I say jump in both feet, we almost did nonstop. There was really only about a month and a half that they really slowed down. And down there, we dealt with a lot more and more often than anybody up here. So it was like, you going up there, they're telling me you got it made, because you don't have to deal with half the stuff.
Right.
You literally deal with the bees, take your draw in June, latest July, done. You're going into the dearth. Now they're just prepping for the winter. So that's why I kind of wanted to get you in the beginning of the season. But it's kind of hot. You need to be ready to run at that point. So it's nice you started now. So whatever time you can commit to it, let's stick to it and do what we need to do. The end goal is, with Hives for Heroes, is one-on-one to build that relationship, to get you more involved. I'm also involved in a couple other organizations as well, the Fallen Outdoors, and that is another thing that I'm big on. You know, get that vet off the couch and let's go do something instead of sitting on the couch and dwelling about other things. So I really like the fact that this organization has put that out there, although I'd like to have some more people involved in it, more than just one. So I reached out to the local community and groups and stuff to learn from them and bring in people from them, or in the VA as well, so that I can be a benefit. Because, you know, if you have all this knowledge and it's not going anywhere, you're not passing it down, how good is it?
Right.
You take it to your grave. So I want to push it out there. The more valuable you make other people, the more valuable you feel. So that's kind of my goal. I'm more teach how to fish, not to give you the fish.
Gotcha.
You know, I'm not going to feed you for a day. I'm going to feed you for a lifetime by teaching you how to do it. So in doing this, you're going to learn a lot. On a 2-year plan with this Hives for Heroes, is their intent is at the end of that, basically, time period, you'd walk away with a hive. You might be walking away with multiple hives if I set you up right and you learn what you got to learn, because my bees, sometimes they'll come and go. It is what it is. In the springtime, I'm glad it's not raining today, because if it was rainy and cloudy, we wouldn't want to be messing with them. They are very nasty, whatnot. So always have an intent when you get into the beehives, and I have a printout sheet that you can kind of look at, take home, check it out. So have an agenda when you get in there. Say, all right, I haven't been in my hives in 2 weeks. I really need to see what's going on. Make sure they're not building comb where they're not supposed to be. Make sure the queen's doing her job. And the reason you look for those things is because you can be proactive. And I always tell people when they start out, if you were to come in and say, I want to buy a hive, you need to buy 2 hives. I highly recommend you get 2 hives, because you can compare. And you can also steal from one and take care of the other. But if you had one, now you got to outsource and you got to find that, you know, supplier, and you're kind of handicapped to everybody else. Okay. So let's say you got to the 2 hives. You want to set yourself up with a queen, a small hive that all it is a few frames, a queen. You have a failure in one of your hives, you can take her, put her in, you don't miss a bee. Gotcha. So that's kind of where we're wanting to go. Let's jump in the Ranger. We'll go down and get the rest of the equipment. My wife, and then we got to get the smoker set up too. My wife will get her stuff set up, and then we'll go over here to the main apiary, and then in the back I actually have another hive, and I'll explain all that when we kind of go to it. All right? Talking about location. Location is key on where to set up. And they have to have a 6-foot flyway. You really want the entrances facing. They look like little rocks when you look for them. So yeah, they're just taking off and going. So we're going to pull up behind these guys. Well, I think I am. Try to work them from behind so we're not in their way. Let them do their thing. You see how they're all collecting in the front?
Yeah.
So when I do the smoke, they're not really bothered by us. I really don't need to smoke them. I could, but I don't have to. It looks like I have a gap on that box right there. So I might have to change out that box down the road just because of that. So what I'll do is I'll just puff the entrance on the one I'm working on. I'll just puff the entrance, and it's so tight that only the bees can get in there. The mice can't get in there, and then I'll go ahead and pop the lid and start working it. So come on over here. I'm going to take my bricks off, and I always try to look at what area I have to work. I can lay the frames up against. I don't want to put them on that colony, but I can take this. If I plan on taking boxes off, and actually take this lid, turn it upside down, and put it beside me. And then that way I can take another box off and set it right on top. You know those little wax strap or oil traps I told you about?
Yeah.
We don't want to take the box and just set it on its side if it has the oil trap in there. So I could lean it up against the side, but I better take the trap out and put it over. Okay?
Good.
I want to cover. See? Good. Good sign. A lot of small bees, a lot of nurse bees, nice and full. That's a great sign. I just put that box on there a week ago, I think. So something like that, right? Maybe 2 weeks. So they were doing jam up on this box. I said, you know what? Let me give them another box and let them start getting ready for the winter. So I have all these bees that are on here, but when I go to put it back on, they might be in the way. I can go ahead and just take this and just go knock them right down into it, or shake them off. Now there's less bees. Now I can put it down. I can either do like this. Right here, I'm looking around the top.
What are we looking for?
Any kind of propolis or wax, because they would use it to bond the lid.
Yep.
And can you lift that off?
No.
What do you think held it?
Propolis.
Propolis. So I like this tool because it's flat. I'm also looking evidence. You see that ant?
Yeah.
So I also would check it out. You know, kill them. Beetles, kill them on site. Ants, kill them on site.
So you're doing that prior to you opening that up.
Yeah.
To minimize
I try to
infestation.
minimize exposure. Ants are getting in there no matter what. If they want to be in there. So just do what you can before you start disturbing them. Because once you see the bees, they're going to be all over the sides. They're going to be moving. So.
Now you were saying something when you added another layer. How did you know when it was
80% full? Okay. So a 10 frame box, out of 10 frames, how many need to be fully drawn out? How many?
About 7.
8 frames. The other ones can be drawn out, but not started. They can't be putting resources in there. And sometimes you might get 6 frames that are drawn out, but you got 4 frames that are half drawn out. So you just kind of guesstimate. So an estimation of 80%, I need to add another box. Now there was a lot of bees in here. And I also want to get them to the next level. They're pretty calm. Pretty decent. So now I can't get that off. So I'll take that in the corner. Don't want to do here. Here won't split anything. So I just take a pop, pry it up, come over here, pry it up, and they're doing awesome. So there wasn't any propolis on the top, but the propolis was actually holding it down. See that?
Yeah.
And remember, this is the colony that came out of the tree over there. So we're actually at that point. You can take a look at the videos at the time lapse. This frame here, why do you think I put rubber bands on it? What would the rubber bands be effective for? What do you think they'll do?
You know, I forgot, but
That's
I know
okay.
You kept the rubber bands.
So you a million things this
I'm giving you, so like I said, I'm going to blow your mind. So I want to throw things out and find out what you're catching, because when we go over it, now it's going to start making some sense. And I throw some of those out there so that you will remember them. J-hook. It's easy to get in there and lift up that frame. If I had this one, you actually got to go in here and pry. It's a little harder. So I like the J-hook. So the rubber band, now, can you answer me that question?
Yeah, it doesn't have no backing.
All right, so where do you think I pulled that from?
Where did you pull it from? You pulled it from another...
Where did this box come from? Where did this colony come from? It came from our cutout tree.
Your cutout tree.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this was actually in the hive, just in the tree, just like that. So I will take that comb, cut it out of the tree, and I will cookie cutter it.
Yeah.
Put it in here literally, and they will bond it, as you can see.
Yeah.
They will bond it to it. And all I had to do was hold it in there with a rubber band. And they're actually chewing it, it's wearing down. And when it's done, there'll be no rubber band, and it'll be totally full. Now, if I want them to really draw that out, I can move that in and get them working on it pretty hard. So I didn't see any queen on here. That was key. That's why I didn't, come over here until I looked at it. It's not uncommon to find her at the top of the colony, but more than likely, she's either right in the middle, and there is a sequence of where the frames go. You can look it up and then come back to me. She's going to be in a certain spot in the box, usually where the brood is. Either in the middle here or middle here. Sometimes it's a little offset. And you have to come back to me and tell me what the other frames have on them. So that'll be one of your tasks. So I pull it out, take a look. It's black foundation. Okay. Black's beneficial for what?
Visual contact to see if you don't want
Good. So we're doing it at a certain time of the day. And then I can actually look just like this. Hold that frame to where you can look right down into the comb. And do you see any eggs? Can you see? Can you see black?
One. I can see black.
Okay, so that's the key. That we want to see black. More than likely, we shouldn't see any brood or larvae, no eggs. Now, remember we were talking about queen cups and cells?
Yeah.
See how that's different than the rest?
Yeah.
They're doing a practice cup. I'm just going to knock that out of there. Okay. So the rest of this frame, it's got a little bit of propolis and wax on the side. Not too much. I really don't need to worry about it too much. But if I had to, I'd just do like this, like that, like that, like that.
Okay.
General maintenance anytime you're in the frame or in the box. Also, don't forget about here.
Right, that makes
Catch the side and go here. Okay? So I will sometimes, once I get the first one out, I'll go ahead and crack. Here, crunch. I got a bee.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Sticky.
So I just crack them just enough. Now they are starting to touch me. So just to kind of confuse them, I can keep this thing. There we go. It is a small smolder. So it's a small, or a slow, cool smoke. And like I said, if you get stung, we'll smoke it up afterwards and that'll disorient and not. It's harder to grab that frame and grab it and pull it out. I grab diagonally. Put my finger in there, put my finger in there, and I reach across. It could be this way. It depends if you're in between boxes, up against something, which angle is better for you. So I grab the frame and I pick it up. I turn and look at it. Man, what do you see?
Oh, this is filled.
What is it?
I don't see honey.
You don't, or you do?
I do see honey.
That's what it is. So basically it's nectar, and when it's capped over, we kind of look at it being honey. So they have to dry it out before it gets to that level where we say it's actual honey. And we can test it to find the moisture level. And then look, it has a foundation, so I just went ahead and flipped it, but I kept it in there. But if I had to go flip it around, I do just like that, and I keep the support this way with the frame instead of this way. I don't want to lose the foundation. So I just pulled that out. Now you show me, if this was sealed, just like I just did, here's your tool, just do what I just did and get to the visual part of it.
Well, if it was sealed.
Yep.
Put the J-hook in
Well,
here.
did you break the seal? If this was bonded.
Did I break the seal?
So break the seal.
Okay.
And break the seal. Give yourself a little gap.
Alright.
Alright, put your tool down to the side. And then pick your frame up. And observe it. And what do you see? You see honey. We see a little bit of wax on the bottom, which we can knock that out. Okay, now flip it over. There you go. Whatever going to be comfortable for you. Right. Everything needs to fit you so that you're comfortable. I'm looking for an extra large bee. Or
extra large.
The drones are going to be buggy eyes. Not going to see many of those. We might see a few of them now, but not going to see many of those. Probably more in this hive. We're going to look for queen. If we don't see the queen, not there. And since we already have one frame out, we don't need to take another one out. So put that one in and push it to the side and go ahead and do the next one. See, the bees are pretty calm, right?
Yeah.
All right, so do your thing. And you see why the magnets, some people, they have them on their sleeve.
Yeah, I see that.
Whatever fits.
Oh wow, this one's
Can you smell the honey? Can you smell the wax?
I can smell something different.
It's that wax.
Oh,
so
this one
in the summertime, you can actually smell that really, really strong when it starts.
You want to know what else I feel? I feel the weight.
Yes.
This is heavy.
Yes.
I feel that.
There you go. So this is capped honey.
Okay.
See it? And it's fairly new. It's not real old and rusty looking, crusty.
Right.
It's fairly new. It's not brand new because it'd be more whitish. All right, what do we see on the other side? So that's good. They're filling this top with a bunch of resources. Ah, wait a minute. What else do you see?
I see cap on the queen cap on the top. Several.
I just saw the pink on this one. See this pink? She got in the way. She got in the way of my marker. That's not the queen.
That's not the queen.
The queen will be marked on the top. So what else do you see on this frame?
I see
What did you just say?
queen cap, couple
All right,
of them.
so a queen cup.
Cup.
And where are they?
They're at the top.
No, you're holding the frame upside down.
Well, they're at the bottom.
So if they're at the bottom, that means those are going to be swarm cells.
Okay.
That we definitely don't want. So
Okay.
that, what we need to do is take the frame, stand it
Got
up,
it.
stand it up. I have it now.
Like
Thank
that.
you, thank you. Always wait until I got
Want me
it.
to let go?
Let go. Always wait till you make sure, because if you drop it, you're just going
Right.
to tick them off. So these we want to either go like this, scrape them off, or cut them out, but I don't want them on there. But you know what?
One more. Yep. Good.
So one more cup and just a little bit of wax.
So you don't
they're gone.
save that wax?
You can,
take it
yeah,
up? Oh,
yeah.
okay. But you just
Yep. You could chuck it, you could throw it, but
Throw
that,
it back,
what I do
yeah.
is, you saw that ball in the back of the Ranger?
yeah.
What I'll do is I'll take it, I'll throw it over here, and I'll use it down the road. Now I'll take this frame, like I showed you, drag it. It's set up diagonally,
Gotcha.
and I'll just take my tool.
Right.
It is beveled on one side. Boom.
Scrape
It
it
didn't
down.
vibrate. It didn't vibrate. And it does fall in. They will use some of it. A lot of times they don't. You can take it, collect it, back to your tool. That piece goes on the other one. So when you
Other
hook
one,
it,
use that one.
you hook the edge and it just stands it up. See that?
Gotcha.
All right, it's all you. Hear that buzz?
Yeah.
What do you think that's called?
Communicating.
In the medical field. Medicinally, there's a name. It's called vibroacoustics. So they say that the beekeepers that are in this, us being in that environment, tend to lead a healthier life because of that. It's more calming. So at this point, I'm going to switch tools. I have that one. I'm going to switch positions with you. I'm going to take that box off of there. And because I don't have a beetle trap in there, I'm just going to go ahead right here. So I'm going to take this tool just like I did the upper. Pop it, break it. See how I took them off a little bit? No big deal. So see how they'll just start going back down in. Then you put your box on.
Want me to go?
All right, so as far as the box goes, I didn't completely break it free. It's still there. Now it broke free. Now I take that box,
Move it down to
and I'm
the
just going to take it, and I'm going to set it down here.
on the side.
Just leave it right there. It's no big deal.
Okay.
So this is my beetle trap, and I'm looking in here, and I see a lot of bees really right down here in the middle. Not so much over here.
Yeah.
There are a
I
bunch
see
over
that.
here.
Yeah.
So the queen could be anywhere from here to about
Okay.
here. If you pay attention to the hive, sometimes it'll give it away exactly where that queen is. It'll be all on top of them. And then you just go, up, there she is. You know what I mean? It'll be just that easy. So because we're working that side, I'm going to take this out. And what don't I want to do with this?
Let's fill it.
All right. Because we'll do what? What'll happen?
You kill off the and is there a larvae?
Yep. Yep. So they built eggs in here. It looks like it's old, needs to be cleaned. So we'll change this one out too. Ah, perfect. See the pollen?
Yes. Yep. I see it.
Perfect. Pollen. So we're supposed to see pollen and resources on these outer frames. Okay? That's what we want to see. There's nothing else in there. They're still working it. They might be cleaning it, but they're still working it. At least you see there's evidence. It's just a smudge, but it could have been an old clean cup that they just never fixed. So yank it out, grab a hold of it, put it up.
Maybe want this on.
Yep. Let me fix the wax on the outside edges. You'll find if you stay on top of your cleaning as you go, you won't have to go back. So I'm going to get right down into the meat and potatoes. One gets in your suit, she's going down. All right, so now, wait a minute, let me check one thing. All right, I don't see her there. Tell me, what do you see in there?
What do
What are
I
we
see?
looking at? What are
I'm
we
looking
looking
at capped honey.
That's capped honey?
Pollen.
Are you sure?
Well, I think if it ain't capped honey, then it's a queen cup.
Nope. What's that?
That's a queen cup.
All right, big difference, isn't there?
Yes, and I see
All right.
pollen.
What do you? So, what's in there?
Larvae.
All right. So what is that then?
That is a larva.
All right. So it's cap brood. Is what we
Cap
call
brood.
it. Yep.
Okay.
There is a name. Yep. So cap brood, and then you see the pollen, and you see, you know, if you pay attention to the flowers on the side of the road, now that you're going to start paying attention to more detailed things out there, when things are in bloom, what's in bloom. And when you go to look at your bees, man, I got a bunch of yellow pollen in there. Oh, no wonder why. There's a bunch of yellow flowers on the side of the road or in a field. You follow me?
Yeah, I've seen them yellow.
I've seen it pink, I've seen it purple, I've seen it white. I mean, it's crazy. So, I don't see the queen yet. We're looking pretty hard. And like I said, she's going to be bigger. And I don't see any drones yet. Drones are going to have big buggy eyes. It's not that time of year that we're going to see them anyway. They'll boo them out. All right. Oh, what do I see?
Wow.
What do I see?
More brood.
All right, more brood. Good job.
There we go. I'm learning now.
Yeah.
Oh, look at, we got one going on right there.
Yep.
It's not, doesn't have an egg in it. Oh, yes it does actually. So, I got to take measures to get rid of that. Now, usually when they get into that mode, it's hard to get them out of that mode, which is why you want to be in them as often as you can as well.
Okay.
All right. Remember what is an egg supposed to look like? All right. So it looks like a little piece of rice, right?
Right.
All right. I'm going to hand you the frame. You're going to take it from me. Hold on one sec. And I want to know if you see it. All right. Take the frame. Hold it in the sunlight so the sun's over your back of your shoulder and you're looking straight down into the cup. Can you see that little piece of rice? And at what shape is it? You see it?
Not on this side.
Don't you change it.
Well, I'm not 100% sure, but I thought I saw something up in here.
So if you look, all right, if you look right in there, you'll see a piece of rice. Can you see it? Oops, right here.
I'll tell you what, can I
Yep.
look in this sun?
Yep.
You want to take your magnifying glass?
Yep, got it. So if you look right in that one or that one, you'll be able to see that piece of rice. And then if you look harder, you'll see over to the right, I found more of the larvae
I think I got stung.
curled around. Which side?
The pinky.
Go ahead. Take this hand. I got the frame. Pull it off. Pull the bee off. Pull the stinger out. Grab this rubber glove, pull it away from you. There you go. Now you separated it. Good. And then again, we'll just do this. It'll take away any of that pheromone. Wipe that stinger off of you. Pull it right out of the glove. And then we just drive on. Well, good. At least you didn't drop it. So we got the queen cup. We want to get rid of that booger.
No, what I was seeing in there was a reflection of the light, and
I'm gonna give you a better visual. All right. Upper left-hand side, tons of eggs. All the open cone. You should see tons of eggs. White rice standing up.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Want me to?
Use the magnifying glass if you want. Right here.
Because
Here you go.
when I'm looking at it, I'm seeing.
Hold on, I'm going to show you.
reflection.
Nope. You have to look real close and almost to an angle. All right, so right here above that little triple, I want you to look. Right where that bee is right now.
Okay, I see it now.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's in there.
All right, so you see it pretty much standing straight up, right?
Yeah.
All right, so that would have told you she was just here, correct?
Yep.
All right, so now I also want to be looking to make sure that I don't knock the queen down. Now I'm eating potatoes. Remember I told you we should find that queen right in the middle, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, we're getting a little agitated, and that sometimes is because we're getting close. And I like certain marker colors because it makes it easier to find her. When I find her, you'll know it. All right, look at, what do I find? What, you see the white in there? You can't see that. We need to get you some glasses. Okay. Do you see the white in here?
Yes.
That's the larvae.
Okay.
All that is larvae. It's much larger now, so they're much older. Oh, got the queen.
Ah, see her.
All right. So basically, I would, if I knew I was coming up, and where did I tell you we'd find her? Right in the middle. I know that I'm going to find her somewhere close. I like to keep this queen pretty handy, ready to go. So I'll take that queen, and I'll just go ahead and catch her. And I'll set her over to the side. Now I didn't kill what I can't replace easily right now. So we found eggs, right?
Yes.
We found larvae.
Yes.
We found cat brood. We found resources. Technically, we found the queen. We found all those things. Even if we didn't find the queen, we found all the other things. We really don't need to go any further.
Okay.
We really don't. So you have the bee bread in there. We have some honey in there. We know that they're building in the top. We've got fresh eggs. We've got the fresh larvae that's not just 2 or 3 days old, but several days old, getting ready to be capped. We do have the cat brood. So the queen's doing her job. But we are finding those swarm cells in there. So because of that one little factor, we're finding the swarm cells in there. I need to probably check out the last 4 frames just to make sure.
Okay.
And knock them off, and that's it. That's the only purpose of the last 4 frames. Understand?
Yes.
All right, you're up. Push that one in the middle. It's got to close up that gap, and that's the only thing. There you go. Done. All right, so you're going to release the queen. My wife likes to play the queen trumpet when we do that. So watch her. There she goes. Right there. Always watch her. Now shake the rest of them off. Just shake. Shake them off. Like shake. There you go. Now let's go ahead and put the box back on. Pick it up, and when you put it on, drag it just a little bit. Get it almost lined up, and then drag it. Now that we've kind of dropped you in the middle of the beekeeping, I know I've blasted you with all kinds of information. What are your thoughts now about beekeeping? How have your interests changed as to what you want to do with it?
Well, it didn't deter me. I know there's a lot of information. You know, I think it is important to know these things because I don't want to jump into something that I don't know nothing about.
You're taking care of bees, and
yes,
it's very important. We don't have the bees, we don't have the pollination, so we're stewards to them the way I look at that.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I would like to continue on and see where we go, where I can go.
So you know it's an expensive hobby.
Yes.
And over this time while you're here, I'm going to teach you how to do swarm traps, which if we're successful, then that means free bees, but there's a lot of labor involved in it. You'll walk away with drawn out comb, which is very valuable to start the colonies off. In the spring, we'll get one going, and it'll be Forrest. That's the Forrest hive, you know. And you're going to watch it grow from the ground up. And I think it's very important to understand that. And what we'll probably do is do another one so that you understand the importance of having multiple hives and what you can do. It doesn't matter what size. The colonies are what's important, and in the time of the year. Or something you want to learn. Where do you want to go from here? What's the next thing? Do you have any questions there?
But I think what I'm really wondering is a good location to set up a hive, and what I can do about standing water in the general area.
Okay.
Because where I'm potentially thinking about putting a hive, it's kind of further away from my house. Okay. Nobody's going to mess with it.
Sure.
But I do know I live on a slope and water tends to run towards that general area.
Might be to your benefit.
I'm hoping.
Might be to your benefit. Just means you got to go in with waders.
Right.
So you just added a piece of the equipment. That's all. I got a feeling that you just made lemonade out of lemons. Truthfully, and that might be your advantage because then the beetles won't lay their eggs below and
Right.
they come right up into the hives. So location is a good location is kind of the borderline of tree lines, almost full sun, but yet maybe in the hotter part of the day they do have a little bit of a shade. But don't be worried about having full sun all day long.
Well, the area I have is there. It will be pretty shady.
So I try to lean towards where the openings are going due south. However, off observation here, I've seen my bees go due north. So I oriented that. Now the due south is usually so that they get sunlight on the entrance and end it. You know, yeah. I gave you a couple things for homework, and we can reiterate those, and I'll go back through the video and I'll shoot you a text, and these are some of the things. One of them I know is
Male, female.
male and female, the identification of the bees, the life expectancy, and then we kind of want to go into the jobs. So start understanding the bees a little bit more and what their duties are. Maybe we can understand how we need to apply ourselves and help accommodate their conditions. And then we'll go into other stuff later on down the road. But watch some videos and come up with questions. Good deal. Man, it's awesome. I'm glad you got a chance to come.
Well, I am glad that I ended up showing it today.
And just let me know when, you know, as often as you want to come into it. In the wintertime, we fade away and don't have to get into them as much.
Right.
Kind of works to your advantage. You can focus on family life. And if you want to bring the family, that's fine too. This is Philip and Forrest and my wife Barbara Sue coming to you from Kowalski Mountain, from our apiary, our homestead, in representation for Hives for Heroes, that you two get another vet involved and get them involved with the beekeeping side of nature. Thank you for joining us. If you haven't watched all of our videos on beekeeping or other issues, please tap on the subscribe button and check us out and see what other things we're actually involved in. But follow along as we build Forrest's colony over the next couple of years and build his progression and see where he goes from there. Thanks for watching.